Alright everyone, so in the previous lesson we learned how to write tags and elements. Now that's going to be the key to writing great HTML code. Now, before we can run anything and make an actual website that will actually display in Google Chrome, we have to know the structure and the skeleton, basically the bare bones skeleton of an entire HTML document. Now it won't be that hard, and thankfully Komodo Edit is really helpful in helping us not type the whole structure in. But if you do need to write the whole structure in for certain code editors, it's actually very simple to remember and it's fairly straightforward. So all we're gonna do is we're gonna go to Komodo Edit 9 and we're gonna click New File from Template. Now the great thing about Komodo Edit is that it has a lot of templates that you can start with for almost every language that there is out there. So we have an HTML5 template. So just scroll down until you find HTML5. Now we're gonna save this file. So let's call this first website, and let's click open, and it's going to ask us the file name you entered. First website doesn't have an extension. Would you like Komodo to add .html? So click yes, because this will add the extension should I say, HTML, which will allow us to run it on Google Chrome and will actually be a website. So let's click yes, and there we go. So you'll get title and like that. So once you click immediately on here, it will expand out to the entire HTML. So all you had to do was click on the document and it'll automatically expand from just that title to this entire skeleton. Now Komodo thankfully writes all of this out for us, so we don't have to write anything else in this skeleton. Now that we know a little bit about tags and elements, let's go over and explain what these tags and elements are doing, because it's pretty straightforward. So this first tag over here, as you can see, is a standalone tag. It doesn't need an opening or a closing tag. Now, this basically tells our document that it's an HTML document, that hey, this document is HTML and it's going to define the structure of our website. Pretty straightforward. Now this HTML tag, it's a little bit kind of useless in a way, but it's in there. So we have a tag that starts the HTML and a tag that closes the HTML. So anything in between these two tags will be written in HTML. Now next up is our head section. Now this head section will not be shown on the website. Nowhere, if you type any code in here, it's not going to be shown anywhere on the website other than maybe the page title if you hold it on the top right there, hold it on the top of the website to see the page title of the website. But that's the only thing. Now this head section is meant for you to put any of the requirements that you need for your website before your website gets loaded. So one of the main requirements we need in our website is a title. So as you can see, Komodo automatically put a title for us, such as page title, but we can rename this. So let's type in between the tags, let's type first website. Alright, so now we just gave our website the title first website. Now Komodo closes off the head section, but there is one more thing we're going to need to make sure that our code is in a proper form. So we're going to need one type of code. So we're going to have a bracket, and we're going to need meta, and we're going to type char set. As you can see, Komodo throughout will give you hints, and it will try to autocorrect or give you some suggestions of what type of code you want there. So as you can see, Komodo gave us the opposite for char set. So we're going to do meta char set equals. Now we're going to put in quotations UTF-8, and then we're going to close it off since it's a standalone tag with a slash bracket. Alright, so what we just typed in meta char set isn't something that you relatively need to know. You just kind of need to know that you need to put it there, as it's good practice to put it there. Now all it basically tells our document, gives the information about the metadata of the website, and it tells us that the character encoding will be UTF-8, which is basic standard encoding for a website. So if you don't understand anything that I just said right there, you really don't need to you really don't need to know it. Just know that it needs to be in there, and that's it. So we are basically done with the head section. So now we're on to the body. Now anything in this body tag, as you can see, the opening body tag is right here and the closing body tag in here. Anything inside here will show up on our web page, but if you put it in the head, nothing will show up. So we have the body here, and now we can actually start writing HTML code that will show up in our website. So let's first run this website with nothing in it, and we're going to see where this first website title comes into play. Alright, now we're going to run this code. Now, as you can imagine, since we have nothing in the body, we're basically going to have nothing on our website. So if you guessed nothing, you're right, because we're going to have a blank web page, essentially a blank web page, except for maybe a title that says first website. And that's something we're not going to be able to see immediately on our website. I'll show you where to see the title. So in order to run this website, well, first what we're going to do is we're going to save it. So we're going to either do Command S or Control S if you're on PC, or if you want, you can click the save button, which is right here, and we have saved our file. Now, if we go back to our folder that we created on our desktop, as you can see, we have the web developer course here. We have our HTML file. Now, this file will run, when we double click it, it's going to run this HTML file. It's going to read the code by Google Chrome or whatever browser we selected to run, and it's going to basically print out your website. So let's go ahead and double click this. You can do this in two different ways. You can either double click this website file, or you can go up here. You can go into Komodo Edit. You can go to this little drop down with the globe on it. You have a selection of 3 different things. So Komodo tab, Safari, Google Chrome. We're going to choose Google Chrome because that's the one that I prefer the most. So we're going to click Google Chrome. Now Komodo has this weird little thing where it constantly asks you, do you want to preview this file in this certain browser? So you're going to click preview with this file, preview using Google Chrome, and then remember the selection so it doesn't constantly annoy us with this little pop-up. Then we're going to click preview. And that's it. Let me just close out of all these other tags. And there you go. You have just created your first website. Now, as you could tell, since we had nothing in our body, it's completely blank. But we did have a title right here that said first website. Now, where this shows up is right here. As you can see, it says first website, and that's basically all that's going to show up. So since we have nothing in the body, we basically don't have anything on our website. But let's change that. So we know a little bit about paragraph and heading tags. So let's implement that into our code. So in order for something to show up on our website, we need to type it in the body. So inside the body, let's create a heading. So let's create the biggest heading that there is possible. So let's create a bracket H1, since 1 is our biggest heading size there is, and another bracket. Now the great thing about Komodo Edit is once it realizes that you're using HTML, it starts to auto fill in opening and closing tags for you. So once we immediately typed in that opening tag, it automatically closes for us, which is very useful since sometimes we may forget to close a tag. So now our cursor is blinking inside the tags, and I like to press enter just so that it gives me space in between to write whatever I want in the headings. But since this is a heading, we don't really need to have that space, so I'm going to just backspace out of there and write my heading. So let's go ahead and write a heading that says welcome. And that's it. We basically just coded a heading in our website that says welcome. So now let's save this document. We'll go over here and click save. And then let's view it. So we can either do two things again. We can either click right here and go to Google Chrome, or we can go back into our Google Chrome browser and we can just, well, since I X'd out of it, we can just either refresh the page if we already have it open. But since I don't have it open, let's go back over here and let's click Google Chrome. And then it opens up our website, and look what we have there. Welcome. So now we basically have a website that actually has stuff in it. No longer a blank website. It's a website that has the heading of welcome. And there you go. You just coded your first website. Now I know it doesn't look like anything special, but with us learning more about HTML and CSS and some JavaScript, we're going to be able to turn this into some unique websites that are going to really stand out. And this is only because we're a beginner right now, but soon throughout this course, we're going to learn how to make some really exciting web pages. In the next lesson, I'll give you guys a little coding challenge, a very small coding challenge to do. So see you in the next lesson.